And here is the Writer's Almanac for Thursday. It's the 25th of June, 2020. It was on this day, 1950, North Korea invaded South Korea, beginning the Korean War. Most of the actual combat occurred in the first year of the war. Dwight D. Eisenhower ran for president, 1952, promising to end the war, and when he was elected, that's what he did. It was the first war the United States had concluded without success. There were no celebrations when it ended. More than 3 million people lost their lives. Many years later, an American veteran named Harold Richards wrote, "I was not brave, nor was I a hero in any way. I was just as scared as anyone else under fire. I took part in 5 major battles and 2 invasions. I suffered the cold of North Korea, along with every GI during the Northern Campaign. There were so many unsung heroes of that war. Only men who were there could understand." It was on this day in 1903, Marie Curie, still a doctoral student, announced her discovery of radium, for which she won a Nobel Prize. That evening, at a party in her honor, the guests went out to the garden. Her husband, Pierre, pulled a little tube out of his pocket which started to glow, and the guests could see that his fingers were scarred. He was holding a tube of radium. It's the birthday of the man who wrote a big bestseller about a boy and a tiger in a boat. Jan Martell, born on this day in Salamanca, Spain, 1963. His father, a Canadian diplomat. The boy grew up in Alaska, British Columbia, Costa Rica, France, Ontario, and Mexico. He was a writer trying to come up with an idea for a book when he remembered a book review he'd read many years before, a review of a book by a Brazilian writer about a German Jewish family who owned a zoo and tried to escape to Brazil. The ship sank, one family member left alone in a lifeboat with a black panther. Jan Martell loved the premise, and he went to work on it and wrote a story about an Indian teenager named Pai Patel. The son of a zookeeper, the family leaves India for Canada. They're shipwrecked, and the boy, Pai, ends up in a lifeboat with a few animals and eventually only a tiger named Richard Parker. It was published in 2001 as Life of Pi, became a bestseller, won the Booker Prize. It's the birthday of the children's author and illustrator Eric Carle, born on this day in Syracuse, New York, 1929. When he was a boy, the family moved to Stuttgart, Germany, and he grew up in Germany during World War II. Went to art school after the war, moved to New York, where he said, "The long, dark time of growing up in wartime Germany, the cruelly enforced discipline of my school years there, was finally losing its rigid grip on me, and the child inside me, who had been so sharply repressed, was beginning to come joyfully back to life." Eric Carle, who's written and illustrated more than 70 books, his most famous being The Very Hungry Caterpillar in 1969. Here's a poem for today by Robert Frost, an uncollected poem from 1921. To prayer I think I go to prayer, along a darkened corridor of woe and down a stair, in every step of which I am abased. I wear a halter rope about the waist, I bear a candle end put out with haste. For such as I there is reserved a crypt, that from its stony arches, having dripped, has stony pavement in a slime of mold. There I will throw me down, an unconsoled and utter loss, and spread out in the figure of a cross. Oh, if religion's not to be my fate, I must be spoken to and told before too late. A poem, To Prayer I Think I Go, by Robert Frost. That's the Writer's Almanac for Thursday, June the 25th. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.